in the dark net especially. You could be wanting to have sex with clowns or children or anything in the world, and you have not only people that accept you, but they support you and they follow you, and it's this mob mentality, and they're telling each other how to evade law enforcement, how to encrypt your secret stash, how to where is the best place to kidnap a child. I mean, they have actual tutorials and manuals on this. And for me, I think even the more concerning fact is I've seen more mothers involved. What I was really concerned about the second that the lockdowns occurred, my very first thought was these poor kids that are locked up with their perpetrator. We're in the United States of America, and we are the top 3, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, top 3 nation of origin in the world for human slavery, next to the Philippines and Mexico, next to third world countries. It's unbelievable.
One of your other statistics is that 78% of child abusers are parents.
Yes. Tragically,
I'm sorry, you just can't. I know that this is stuff you deal with every day, but my listeners don't, and neither do I. And that just is just a staggering number to me. Can you give me some more information around that?
It is devastating, and I was probably the saddest thing that I've ever read in my career was I was working a darknet case, and there was a victim who was talking about why she got into trafficking, and she said, I'd rather be abused by somebody who's not my dad and get paid for it. And that's how she started. It's just unbelievable. So, 78% of the sex abusers are the parents, which is unbelievable. And for me, I think even the more concerning fact is I've seen more mothers involved. Like, when I first started doing these cases, I would never see a female involved in this, but that to me is, I don't even know how to explain that. It's such against a mother's instinct. It's so disgusting. What I was really concerned about the second that the lockdowns occurred, my very first thought was these poor kids that are locked up with their perpetrator. And there's been a rise in the runaways. And of course, they are not going to school. And a teacher, a lot of times we get our tips from teachers. They'll notice something's wrong with the child. They will talk to the child. The child now has no outlet being locked up in this situation. So one of the predictions that I had was we are going to start to see a huge uptick in reporting once the kids are back in school, because they're going to tell the teacher or somebody is going to notice it. And so I'm very concerned about the fact that, and unfortunately, there's a big connection now with child exploitation and human trafficking. When I first started working in child exploitation cases, it would tend to be an isolated incident where the parent was victimizing the child. But because of the internet and the dark web and the ability to communicate with people and the ability to sell children online, because of the ease of doing this, more child predators are moving to not only be preying upon children sexually, but also selling the children. One of the worst cases I've ever worked involved a man who was essentially molesting his disabled son. And I just thought, I need to look at this guy's financial records just in case, I need to see. And immediately I looked at his financial records and my heart sank, because I saw a bunch of $20 transactions coming to him from a bunch of different men. The very first name, I looked it up, and it was a sex offender. And so immediately I knew he was not only abusing this child, but selling the child. And also his girlfriend was involved with sexually abusing and selling the child. Unfortunately, child predators have been around since the sands of time, and they're a danger to society, and they need to be locked up. They will act again, unfortunately. But it's even worse now with the internet, and the ability to sell children and human beings is so easy. It's like selling candy. It's so sad. And unfortunately, there's also a culture of, in the darknet especially, you could be wanting to have sex with clowns or children or anything in the world, and you have not only people that accept you, but they support you and they follow you, and it's this mob mentality, and they're telling each other how to evade law enforcement, how to encrypt your secret stash, how to where is the best place to kidnap a child. I mean, they have actual tutorials and manuals on this, and they don't know that I'm in there and I'm in this forum and I'm reading this. It's like the dirtiest diaries you've ever seen, and I'm taking notes because I want to know, okay, what are they looking for? What boats are they trying to bring the kids on? And they're talking about it to help each other. They're telling each other, hey, does anyone have any videos of live killing of children? And that's been a new trend. Like, they want to, it's not just the sex, it's the violence. They want to have child sex torture chambers, and they actually want to watch a child being killed. It's unbelievable to me. I can't understand it. It's unbelievable. And they have like these contests too that, and in fact, I think they arrested a few people for this, where they want to convince the child to commit suicide, and it's called like the blue whale. Yeah. And so they have these contests where, okay, whoever can get the child to kill himself first, like, wins. Like, this is actually going on. This is unbelievable. So it's really scary to me, the growth in violence. 90% of victims of human slavery in this country are women. And we're in the United States of America, and we are the top 3, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, top 3 nation of origin in the world for human slavery, next to the Philippines and Mexico, next to third world countries. It's unbelievable. And because sex sells in this country, the United States is also the top producer and consumer of child sex abuse material online. During the COVID, the top search for child pornography is, teen porn, and it's unbelievable. There's really not enough prisons in this country to put all these people away. And, I don't have children myself, but if I did, I would keep them offline. The number one way of recruiting children is online. It's so easy. I had a case where this man was essentially just adding the entire middle school, like, and it's a numbers game, right? He can add anybody he wants on Facebook, and just one kid is going to fall for that. One kid is going to want that attention. One kid is going to want that love, and that's the game. And so one of these child traffickers that I worked on, you look at his friends list on Facebook, and it's all underage girls who are unemployed, who are scantily clad. They're kind of giving off that vibe. And he had hundreds of these girls as his friends, and it's like, okay, so that's not illegal, but at the same time, it's such a red flag. I feel, the Facebooks of the world I have seen pictures of a child's vagina as the profile photo. I've seen child predators on there. They're not monitoring this. I mean, they're monitoring, I don't know what, politics or other things, but, they need to start with, just like if we have the automobile industry. Okay, so we had regulations for safety, right, on automobiles. Like, so too should we on the internet. We need to have stricter regulations and hold people accountable, not just with fines, but criminally accountable, I believe.
This episode was a little bit different to the normal ones. Obviously, it's deep, it's dark, it's in some ways frightening. But if you've enjoyed this episode, you could do me a favor. You can click over there. You can get more episodes if you want to, but you can do a bigger favor for me by clicking over there. And then you'll get every piece of content that I share every single week on this and other important subjects. I'll see you soon.